Latest on the deadly midair collision near Reagan National Airport. It's been more than a week since a Black Hawk helicopter collided with an American Eagle jet, killing 67 people. In just the last hour, a large section of that helicopter was removed from the Potomac.
Our John Duran has been watching those recovery efforts all day, and he's joining us live along the banks of the Potomac with the very latest. John?
Yeah, Simone, over my shoulder, you'll see that red crane on a barge that's been on the water since Sunday. That arm of the crane is now down, perhaps signaling the end of its work, at least for tonight. As you said, about an hour ago, we watched as that crane lifted what looked like the fuselage of that Black Hawk helicopter. We were also told by officials earlier today they lifted the last of the large pieces of the airplane out of the water. Not far from where we are on Capitol Hill earlier today, senators questioned FAA and NTSB officials as they try to begin to understand how something like this could happen and how it could be prevented in the future. 8 days after a deadly midair collision near Reagan National Airport, senators spoke to transportation and aviation leadership for the first time about last week's disaster.
I think we can try to get preliminary kinds of things, as we're doing today, that would suggest to the FAA what they need to be doing at Reagan and across the country that make flight more safe. But for the conclusion as to what actually happened here and what the facts are, I think that's still several months away.
Senators asked FAA and NTSB officials how they can limit congested airspace near this airport and others across the country.
I asked the FAA today to conduct a review of helicopter routes, not just at DCA, but at other airports across the country to determine where there are risks of a similar such collision. I also asked the Army to reconsider and assess with what frequency is the Army turning off ADSB out on military missions, particularly missions that do not have a sensitive national security component.
Senator Ted Cruz says he'd also like to modernize air traffic control. It says Elon Musk's involvement in that upgrade is a plus.
I think that's actually tremendously important. I have been advocating for a long time modernization of air traffic control. Our air traffic control technology is from the 1950s. We are literally using radar and strips of paper and floppy disks. And the fact that Elon Musk, one of the top technology CEOs on planet Earth, is available to bring his expertise and the expertise of world-class engineers to bring air traffic control out of the 1950s and into the 21st century, I think that is a real opportunity.
You heard Senator Cruz mention ADSB. According to the FAA, that's a security system on board aircraft that tells other aircraft in the sky, as well as air traffic control towers, the location, the ground speed, as well as the altitude of the aircraft. Senator Cruz said today the Black Hawk helicopter on that training mission last Wednesday had that security system turned off. The investigation into why that's the case, as well as what ultimately led to this collision happening last week, is still in its early stages, guys.
Yeah, it's been just over a week since that crash that changed so many lives. And now, as you heard in John's reporting, so many people want to know the answers, and that work is continuing. All right, John, thank you.
We've heard from so many of you just saying you want to help in this tragedy, and we've tried to make it easy for you to make an impact.
Yeah, so text the word HELP to the number on your screen. It's 202-895-5599. We'll text you back with a link to verified organizations that will put your donations to good use.
Well, understandably, millions of Americans